We have a few children over here in our area, but I think I'm still going to talk from this place, but if you can just kind of pay attention here, and we'll also be looking at the screen. So can you see what this is? Can anyone just tell me what that is? It's a little paper crane. And do you know what we call that technique when you fold paper like that? It's called origami. Yeah, and this is a Japanese technique, but a lot of people have learned how to do this, and the paper crane is probably the most recognizable one of these. And, you know, a young girl in Japan decided at one point that she would do 1,000 cranes for world peace. And so she did that, and then a lot of other people decided to do that. And one of the members of our congregation, Rebecca Krebin-Coates, did that a number of years ago, and so she made a whole bunch of paper cranes. Can you see all those? And there were just rows and rows and rows, and we hung them in the sanctuary. Lots of paper cranes. Now, that was, you know, I don't know who folded the first paper crane. I don't know how they figured that out. But once people started folding things, then they started folding all kinds of things. Now, this particular technique is called wet folding. So the paper is wet, which makes it easier to make shapes. But what is that? Elephant. Yeah, and what are those? Bugs. Yeah, bugs. And what's that? It's a spaceship from what movie? Star Wars, yeah. And who's that? Iron Man. Like, go figure. Who would decide to do an origami Iron Man? That takes a lot of creativity and imagination, doesn't it? And then some people just decided, well, it doesn't need to be anything, it just needs to be beautiful. And so people started doing stuff like that. So pretty cool, huh? So, you know, I had this idea that maybe we should have some really big ones. So do you remember these from Advent, from last year? And so we did some really big ones, and then we hung them in the sanctuary. And so I thought it might be interesting to see how you fold a paper crane in reverse. And I'm doing this fast like I know what I'm doing, but I really don't. Now, someone who knows how to fold paper cranes has to volunteer to put this back together, because we might use them next Advent. But this is how big the paper was. And did you count how many unfolds it was? Oh, we forgot to count. Darn. Well, you know, this idea, I have to confess, you know, sometimes one idea grows on another idea. Like,
where did you get that start?
Yeah, oh, I'll tell you about that later. Whoever decided to fold cranes, the people who decided to fold elephants had to have the people who were folding cranes before. And, you know, whoever decided to do a spaceship or Iron Man, you know, then someone else might look at that and say, well, I could do this or I could do that. So sometimes we kind of steal ideas. Ideas get shared. And I have to admit, the idea of doing big paper cranes in the sanctuary was an idea that I sort of stole, because I was in the Denver airport. And I don't know how many of you have been in that terminal, but in the Denver airport, they have these things that kind of look like paper airplanes. They're actually made out of metal. They're painted metal. This is what it looks like closer up. But I saw these, and they're and they go up, and they're all over, and there are a whole bunch of them. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be interesting to hang a bunch of really big things in the sanctuary, kind of like these big things. And these are big. They're big things. So even that idea that I had of doing something big, of course, I take full credit for it, but I was actually stealing some ideas from other people. So when you have sometimes big ideas, first of all, they might start as little small ideas. And sometimes big ideas really come from stealing ideas from other people and taking them a little bit further. So I think that one of the things that God did when God created us was that God made us able to see things that might happen, to imagine big things, and then to make them happen. I don't know what went on in the mind of whoever that, it was probably a guy who did Iron Man, don't you think? I don't know, but whoever did that, I don't know what went on their mind, but at some point, that person had an idea, oh, I could make an origami Iron Man. And his ability to do that was given to him, I believe, by God. Amen.